You're all right, bud. Just pick a spot, do a relax. Oh, man. You're gonna have to, you gotta go find your spot. Go on. Go on. Go relax. Go on, buddy. You don't want to be over this close to me, okay? Hello. Go on. Go on. Ruger, go. Go. Go relax. There you go. Come on. You're all right. You look a little pathetic, but you're fine. Okay? Go, ow, go relax, bud. Alrighty. So. Give it a second. I'm not going to give it too many seconds, though. We are just going to jump right in here with some... We're not going to do the cloud parts first. We're going to do the color mixy bits first. That doesn't really explain anything, but instead of using just regular titanium white, I'm going to just tone it down and use like light blue and light purple and maybe even a light red to kind of brighten up certain parts of my sky before adding in a couple of clouds where it is actually just titanium white. So we're going to be doing, I think it's going to be a delightful little scene, personally. But I think they're all delightful. So, pardon me while I just mix up a couple, like really just light colors. Alright. And I almost had my palette today, but Roxy scared the mailman, and so now it's at the post office, and I need to go pick it up tomorrow. Oh-a-dee-do-ba-dee-do. Consequences of having a dog that looks scarier than she is. So. Holy cow, we got 14 people. I haven't even done anything. I'm just talking about my dog. Anyway, I guess we should do something with our sky. Oh, it doesn't even really matter what this looks like. This is undercolor for my undercolor, technically speaking. Roxy is a love bug. She is a love bug, but she is 50 pounds, and I can understand where our mail lady might be a little intimidated by her presence. She's all confidence and not a second thought in that wonderful head of hers. Kind of fluff these a little bit. Oh man. What's that? Yup, drop my brush. And I got paint on my toe now. What the heck? Alright, let's come in here with this lightish pinky purple color. Yeah, we're gonna throw that brightness. Oh, I thank you. It's hardly anything yet, but yes, thank you. Appreciate you popping in. I don't know if you caught my story about I almost had your palette today, but my dog scared the mailman, so mail lady, but I gotta go get it tomorrow from the post office. It was an attempted delivery. I didn't realize they were coming to deliver it when I let my dog out to go potty this morning. So, tomorrow. So, we're doing, I guess we're just kind of brightening up certain spots with not a super bright color. These are toned down because there's going to be some other stuff going on over here. It's just a lighter version of my undercolors, which are, it's Prussian blue, alizarin crimson, and dioxazine purple, which I feel like I always say that last one wrong, if I'm being completely honest. So, then we're going to leave this alone for a moment and go put some actual for real clouds in our sky with just the plain old titanium white. Well, hello Ryan Butterfly, been a minute. How are you doing? Do you use glow-in-the-dark paint? I've never used oil paint before. I don't use glow-in-the-dark paint. I do have plans to order some fluorescent oil paint at some point when I can spare the money for it, which would glow under black light, which I think would be super cool. But I'm just using a regular old oil paint today. And I'm brightening it up just with the titanium white and Daxodine purple or Prussian blue, depending on which color I'm using. I have alizarin crimson on my palette too. So, but I am about to just go grab a bunch of just straight titanium white. So, the reason I didn't want it to be super bright over here is because I've got other plans for stuff to be over here that's going to be bright. But I just wanted to throw some color out over there. So, I'll throw at least a couple little fluffy clouds out here though. And have been good. Small car problem, but thankfully I got a handyman husband. Ooh, I got one of those too. I got a handyman husband. Very helpful with car related things. No waterfalls today actually. There's no water in this painting, Mel. None. And Ryan Butterfly, 'cause I think you were the last one to ask about it. They will probably officially hit my store Sunday or Monday, but I am doing a collection of prints. And like I said, Sunday or Monday, because I couldn't pick them up myself the other day, so I had someone pick them up for me, and I'll be getting them Saturday, but it will be kind of like towards the end of the day on Saturday, which is why Sunday or Monday is when they'll probably officially hit my Etsy store. And for anyone else who was otherwise unaware, I'll be having some prints hit my store Sunday or Monday, so keep an eye out. So, and tomorrow I can actually take my new palette for a test drive too. So many things are happening. Exciting in my little artist world. I think it's exciting anyway. Hopefully you guys agree. Let's soften up some of these edges here. Alrighty. Let's see. That's gonna go right about there. We'll do one more cloud. One more. A little one though. One more little, just like a, kind of like a little wispy one. Ooh, there it is. Cosmic Scene. Thank you. It is going to actually be sort of cosmic-y, sort of nighttime-ish. I really blur the lines between is this space or is this the sky with my technically nighttime scenes, but they're so much fun. They really are. I should actually do one proper clean of this brush here real quick. Got a little bit too much paint on it. And I'm putting the color down with just a natural bristle 1-inch fan brush, blending it with a 1-inch oval brush. You can use a regular 1-inch brush to blend it out as well. And probably even just blend it with a fan brush. This is just the brush that I happen to prefer for blending out my clouds. I think it makes a nice effect. Just make sure you don't over blend your clouds into like an obscure little cotton ball. Unless you want some cotton balls in your sky, then by all means, blend away. But at some point, you're going to have too much of a good thing, and you're going to need to just put the brakes on a little bit. I don't paint lab on Friday, no. Oh, I guess you guys aren't gonna see my palette until Sunday. I'll take it for my own personal test drive tomorrow. Maybe I'll put it to practice with doing just like endless bushes or mountains or something. Anywho, so why don't I take this color here, and I don't need it all the way up, but we're gonna pop in little bits here. That's why I didn't really want this bottom piece to be too distinct. I'm coming right in front of it because that's just a color deposit. It's not really supposed to look like anything except just a pocket where you can see some more color. So perhaps right about there. Maybe there's also something kind of right there. And we're going to blend this and soften it, all that good stuff, so it's going to make a little bit more sense. Perhaps in a few minutes. We're just blending little circles, brightening it up, softening these textures that I just deposited. And with these, I want to make sure I'm coming back, just kind of straightening it out, at least for the moment anyway. I'm going to make, ideally anyway, I'm going to put a comet up in the sky. So that's the goal. I want to paint a comet. You guys will have to tell me whether or not I did a good job when we actually get to see the darn thing, because obviously it's not a comet yet. Was brushing my dog and lost track of time. I feel that. My dog, one of them, is actually down here just to make sure that they don't play. Because we have a vacuum robot and he's going, and he won't go and clean the hole downstairs if my dog's in his bedroom. So I've got my R&R dog down here, the one who's supposed to be resting and relaxing, because he's starting to feel better, which means he wants to roughhouse more, which he's not supposed to do just yet. Whether or not you actually see him or not, I don't know. We have a section of our couch down here because not all the pieces fit in the living room, so he's just hanging out on our little couch piece. What is your dog's name, Mr. Odin? Or what kind of dog? That's a fun question too. Do I want to use a fan brush or a patella knife? Isn't that the question? Let's clean my my fan brush. As we get ready to drop our comet in here. Well, you guys are getting kind of a... Is that just when I'm in front of the... There's a slight bit of glare for you guys that I kind of wish I could take away. I don't really know if there's any way for me to really do anything about that. That's a little better. Anyway, titanium white. Be dropping onto my palette here in a more pure form, because I have it on the palette, but it was a pile from yesterday, so it was already tainted with some blue and purple and all that good stuff. So I need just titanium white. And we are going to come in here. Perhaps we'll start. Go that way. There we go. Brush the darkness off my brush. I'm going to come out here and do it again. A bit more white. His name is Arlo, and he's a German wire hair pointer. That's cool. Aren't wire hair pointers like super fast? Arlo is also a great dog name. Nice clean dry brush. The clean dry part's important because now I'm just going to soften this and bring some of these bits up, up, up. I'm going to need a little bit more white in the back spot there, so we're going to go get a little bit more. Not too much, but it does need to have just a little bit more on its tail. I think so anyway. Just drop some color down here. I guess it's not really color so much as it's regular old titanium white, but it's going to make the colors come alive that are already down here, is what it's going to do. So. And we will be doing stars today in this sky, because I see no reason why I can't have a comet in my sky and also have cool stars. Whether that makes sense or not, I don't know. In my mind, it makes perfect sense. There we go. That's clean. I'm gonna grab this one and do it. Yeah, there we go. That's grabbing it a little bit better. The other one just softens it so perfectly. But I do kind of need to not be betrayed by myself. There we go. There we go. There we go. Alrighty. Clean my brush, brighten up a couple more spots here, and drop some stars in. We had to put one of our dogs in one of my shirts when he got neutered. Our Mr. Rugerman's in a big old clunky cone, which he's not super enjoying, obviously, but that's mostly because it prevents him from licking his surgery site. But he's doing good. I thought about getting like a shirt or something for him, but I wasn't really sure where to get one. I guess I could have ordered something off Amazon, but a cone works just as well. So he's all fixed up. No babies from him. We're just gonna throw in a couple more of those little brightness spots here and there. Put one right there, now that I know there's nothing up there. For sure. This is turning out so cool already, guys. Hopefully you agree, because I kind of love some of these cosmic, like, scenes. Is it the night sky? Are we in space? That's for you to decide. Both? Neither? There's no right or wrong answer. It's just fun. We got one up here. Hopefully my other dog doesn't attack Mo. It's our little robot vacuum's name. She doesn't like him. I think he's great. Alrighty. Should I put more clouds in the sky? I don't know. Maybe just a couple little whispers, perhaps. You might just be able to kind of see kind of what they've got going on, but we're going to soften them up, and then you're going to start wondering if they're actually clouds or not. I'm going to put some distant mountains out there today. But stars first. We got to get those stars in there before we get too hairy low. I need my... I didn't thaw my liquid white. Well, we're about to make some liquid white on the fly because whoopsie doozy. Spoiler alert, I freeze my liquid white when I'm not using it. It lives in the freezer down here. But a little bit of oil and a little bit of titanium white does the same thing, because that's all it is. It's just oil and white paint. And then I can just mix that with my palette knife. So, one moment while I make my star paint real quick. So, maybe you guys can tell me something about your day that you enjoyed. What have you guys been up to today? What was something that you liked about your day? I went out and saw my chickens today, and they're all super happy to see me because we actually have an enclosure for them now. Kiddo will probably tell you that she watched the part of her penguin show and her piggy show, which is Happy Feet and Sing. Ooh. I think I drank my drink a little bit too fast. Alright, I'll just check that real quick. Those are her two favorite movies right now. Alrighty, let's come up here and just start off somewhat gentle as we deposit these stars. We'll add more as we get less paint. We can be a little firmer with our deposit, but I always start with kind of like gentle, just kind of lightly flicking the paint off the fan brush here. Because when there's a lot of paint, it's really easy to throw accidentally some really big globs of paint on here with your stars that you might not want. But as you start getting less paint on here, because you've deposited so many stars, you can be a little rougher, I guess, with your fan brush and your stars. Because these are not all going to be the same. They're not all going to stay super bright. Some of them, when they dry, will be not so noticeable, and others are going to stay really bright and super noticeable. I always throw just a bunch out there, and I personally think you can't have too many stars, so it's a win-win. Whether they all stay, whether some of them stay, some of them go. Let me throw a couple right there. And I enjoyed watching YouTube, eating pizza rolls, played some Skyrim. There you go. I would like to see your dog. Maybe after the painting. Like I said, he's kind of chilling out on the couch segment right now, so he's not super nearby, and I'd have to move the whole phone thing. So perhaps after the live, I'll give you guys a peek at Mr. Rugerman. But at the moment, we're gonna go put some distant mountains on the scene. So I'm gonna grab my little filbert brush. Pretty sure it's a filbert brush. That's what I call it anyway. It looks like a really little filbert brush. Might technically be a round brush. Does good distant mountains, which is what I'm doing right now. So, get me a light blue color. Because they're kind of far off in the distance. And it's nighttime, so they're probably have lots of reasons to be kind of like this lightish blue color that we're about to deposit here. Take a drink here too. I also enjoyed a little bit of Monster Hunter Wilds before I went live today. Once I kind of finished sketching out my scene anyway, I put it for maybe an hour. So let's see. Okay. So obviously I'm not going to cut in front of my comment. That's kind of the main thing. So I won't get kind of right up under it. We're just going to put some basic shapes out here. These are far away. I'll soften and kind of blend them out a little bit, just to kind of, as I go. But they are supposed to be not super detailed. Put that one over there. Bring it over. This is also, even though I loaded it with light blue, they're definitely purple, and that's because my undercolor, I think in that particular section, is alizarin crimson. What kind of dogs do I have? They are both mixes. Got my 3D printer back working properly. That was the highlight. That's cool. I think I have a niece who got a 3D printer for Christmas from Santa. And what did she make? She made, I think, a lucky cat, like a little lucky cat that you sometimes see. Is that more of a Japanese thing or more of a Chinese thing? If you know what it is, you know what it is. I can't think right now of like where that comes from, but it was super cute. Oh, right, my dogs. I got distracted. I have what I believe is a Border Collie blue/red heeler mix. And then that's Mr. Ruger. Roxy, her adoption paperwork said she was Australian Shepherd blue heeler mix. I'm fairly confident she has some German Shepherd in her as well. Just based on like size and coloring. Who knows? The only way to be more certain would be to do a doggy DNA test on my doggos, since they are basically both rescues. Ruger just sort of showed up one day and no one stepped forward to say, hey, that's my dog. Posted him on like 4 different social media sites. Posted, I reached out to the local shelter, had them post about him, vet, and just wherever people told me to go post about a found dog, I posted about a found dog, and no one came saying that he was their dog, so he is our dog now. And Roxy was a regular old shelter rescue that we intended to adopt. Ruger was kind of showed up one day and he's like, hey, how you doing? I live here now. So, he lives here now. We've had him for over a year now, though. So, I'm going to soften out the bottom of that. And then we're going to do one more layer of those. Oh yeah, so no, Sylvester we adopted from the shelter. He didn't just show up. He did sit himself right in my husband's lap though. Like he owned the place and then, surprise, surprise, came home with us because my husband's a big old softie. Because we absolutely weren't adopting a cat that day. Like, ha ha ha, yeah, right. That's funny. Not adopting a cat. I don't think anyone ever really goes to just look. I mean, has anyone actually walked into an animal shelter and walked out without an animal? I mean, really. Sylvester is super chill. He loves food, but he's very chill. Although he was also a legit like feral cat for like the first 6 months of his life, so I can understand his mildly obsessive desire for food. He's lived with us for a while now, though. At least a few years. And don't worry, we're not going to do just endless distant mountains, but I did want to do 2 layers of these, just to kind of help with that depth. Since Miss Mel had to say that I never paint something without water, I'm like, I do too. I just haven't done something without water recently. My dog will make us hand feed him the first 2 to 6 pieces of his food before he will eat. I don't think either of my dogs makes us hand feed them, but I do periodically hand feed them and just have them like work it into their obedience. Not usually for the whole meal, and it's really sporadic, but I just sometimes do that to kind of help progress their training. I'll hand feed them. Roxy is weird in the sense that she will sometimes just not eat her breakfast, so sometimes I'll do that just to have her eat. Otherwise, she's totally chill with just skipping her breakfast sometimes. So I will hand feed her and have her work for it, because then she'll actually eat it. If I just hand feed it to her, she gets bored and she's like, I'm not eating that. You're just holding my food. But if I like have her do like a sit or a down or a roll over, have her shake, hold the middle position. Like if I give her something to do, she will eat it out of my hand, but she won't just take it for free sometimes. She's not a workaholic, but that's just the mood she hits from time to time. Alrighty. I think we're gonna throw in some grassy bits and some distant little trees. And then we're going to start getting into the more of the foregroundy bits. Handy dandy film brush is coming back. And we're going to mix up with a little bit of blue, and we have some phthalo green over here. We're just going to make a greenish blue color. It can be actually, I'm going to make like a pretty dark green. It's just going to be slightly tinted blue. Because there's undercolor down there, and I don't really remember exactly the combination of colors that I've got down here. So we'll find out. It's probably bluish, purplish. I don't think there's any red down there. Don't know. Don't remember. But we're just gonna make some, I'm gonna make some grassy bits. And we're just tapping the color onto here. No particular spot other than just kind of the base of these mountains, but kind of keeping it lower, because you won't be able to see if there's grass and trees on these mountains. They're too far away, it's too dark. You just wouldn't know. And then we're going to come in with another layer right in front of them. Sad title, Dino Destruction. Oh, that would be a little sad, but I could see where you're going. D-Day for the dinos. I was thinking more of like a cool cosmic event, but I can see. I see where you're coming from. And for anyone who happens to be new here, if we've got any new people, we turn titling the painting into a group project. So if you've got suggestions for titles, feel free to drop them into the comments. And we will pick one together at random at the end. Little one could probably save the dinos. He's probably a smart little guy. Going to go live with his grandparents. And this I'm blending into softer lines because it's still pretty far away. I'm going to have more distinct grassy areas. We're just not really there yet, so that's why it got blended. Okay, there we go. One of your brushes isn't doing exactly what you want. Switch brushes. You aren't married to your brush. You can have whichever brush do whatever job you want, as long as you're getting the desired effect. So, bibbidi bobbidi boop. I'm going to brighten this up a little bit with some white. And it probably shouldn't all be all dark like that, especially right here towards the center. Bippity boppity boop. I did not eat enough before I streamed again. I always eat. Painting makes me hungry. There's no solution for this. And then just gently brushing and blending. Just kind of making like little, like a field. It's just far enough away right now that you can't see every blade of grass. But we are slowly working in a little bit more detail as we get closer. But we're going to start letting this detail, the texture from the brush, start actually hanging out. Maybe more towards the center, or just blending the bottom, not the top. Because blending in between each layer is still kind of helpful. We're going to let some of that detail actually start hanging around. And then maybe right there. We'll grab a nice dark step one too. Maybe we'll have some right here. Let's start with that. Because maybe, where's my brush that's good at this? Some of these are actually itty bitty little trees. And they come up here. Stretch above everything else, which is what's going to help them look like itty bitty trees. By the way, another thing that will kind of help them look like trees is if I put like a little bit of white, a little more over there, up underneath them, and then I use that to pull up into my trees that I just put down, and now they have trunks. Until I blend a little too close to those bottom ones right there, and then they don't. We're going to put those back. Alright, and we're going to be a little careful blending away just the bottom. we can do that. We can fix our little oopsies because the paint's still wet. So. I'm gonna do a couple more here and there, little pockets of trees, I guess we'll call them, little kind of. Maybe we'll put one kind of in between those two. I'll do like a little one over here. I don't want to get too crazy dropping in these little tree pockets before I kind of add the detail and brush them up. It's kind of hard to layer if you do too many at a time. So gotta be kind of careful. Just a little bit. Gotta pay attention to your layers. Those ones have a bit more brightness in them, but that's all right. Nothing wrong with that. To catch a moonbeam. Starlit Sea, cool. Have you ever not liked a title? No, I don't think so. I think I've liked every title you guys have like thrown out there, honestly. I mean, I think I've had like favorites of like, ooh, I think it would be really cool if like this was the title, but I've never not liked a suggestion. And sometimes my favorite gets picked and sometimes not. Be awfully suspicious if my title got picked. If my favorite got picked every time, but I don't usually tell you guys which ones my favorites are. I usually have more than one favorite anyway. But only one name can actually name a painting. Can't be having multiple titles for the same painting. That's just gonna get confusing. And since I'm putting some details here, I am trying to be a little extra careful that I just blend just the bottom, and that just helps the trees kind of be a part of the land that they're sitting on. Not just kind of like trees that hang out here, I guess. Helps to shape the land. Just try not to blend that detail away, that's all. The Valley of Dream, Doorway to a Dream, also solid titles, guys. Keep them coming. If you guys think you've got a great idea for a title suggestion, drop it into the comments. We will, like I said, randomly select one. We're not quite towards where I would say we're really getting close to the end here, but yeah, we're a little bit more than halfway, probably. Depends how long it takes me to do my true foreground stuff, but there might be some echoes in the mountain if that comet actually lands. I don't know if it will or not. Who knows? In my mind, it's kind of just pretty, but there is a really good movie where the comet does touch down. There is. And they allude to the fact that it's probably not the first time. I break this rule all the time. I'm pretty sure I should have put this little baby collection of trees back here before. But I didn't. So now they live out here. They're not going to get any brightness, but they are going to live out there. Oh, right. I gotta do these guys. Oop, just to kind of help close up this little area here. I'm gonna bring them a little taller. And then I start thinking about my 4-count. I have actually thought about it. I just gotta actually start getting it actually out here. Can't be hanging out in the distance forever. I did the thing again. Blended a little too close to the bottom of my tree. And I gotta put my trunks back. It's okay, guys. It's okay to make mistakes. They're pretty easy to fix when you're working with oils, in all honesty. So, there we go. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Even though if you've ever squeezed a lemon to try and make lemonade, it is not easy. So that turn of phrase doesn't make sense to me. Alright. So, how shall I be starting? I'm going to mix up like a dark green color. Probably just a little bit of Prussian blue, a little bit of sap green, throw in some black in there just to make sure it's like a really dark color. Put in some land, and then we'll kind of brighten it up. Where is my black? And there's going to be some closer trees, not too many, but a couple. Some bushes that are actually close and distinguishable as bushes. And it will really kind of help push this distant stuff kind of further into the distance. And hopefully we can capture like a really cool depth here. That's what we're going for today. So, doopity-doopity-doo. Perhaps the best way to do this would be with my big old 2-inch brush though. Just to kind of drop in some grassy bits that will look like grass, but then I can still kind of come in and put stuff on top of it and start messing with it. Like I said, this is going to be dark for a minute, but just bear with me. I promise I can see what I'm doing. Come back, I'm going to highlight this stuff. I just need some basic shapes. I'm going to come over here. I'm actually going to need like a slightly, just a little bit. I'm just gotta come in here, ever so slightly, with just a few more. Otherwise, we're gonna have like an awkward space here. Burger Man, what are you doing? You gotta hang out with me with this. You know, I can't have you wrestling with your sister. By the time he gets used to his cone, he won't even have to wear it anymore. Just would be good for him. Alrighty. Did that. Now let's get back to dropping in those that basic little bit here. Yeah. Add in just a little bit of brightness as we start working back in here. But that initial border, we will be using it, don't worry. You're throwing stuff almost right on top of it. So, down to Louis. Still come in here periodically. Soften edges. and under there, just to add little bits of separation here and there. And then we'll just kind of come in here, right underneath them. Shape this however we want. This is not going to be the only thing living out here. This is just what stuff is going to sit on. Although I'm not going to cover it all up because that would be silly. It would be rather silly. Portal of Peace. That's also a cool title. Very nice. Like I said, you guys have a lot of really cool titles. I'm going to sneak this piece kind of right back here. And we're going to blend the bottom so that it's softer. Come in here, see if we can't make like a cool little, like, oh, this is behind this also kind of something, something. And if it's not super obvious, then it's fine. I'm hoping we get some pretty cool grassy effects that I can put a couple trees on, a couple bushes, and just kind of have fun pushing all this other stuff to the background. Maybe throw in a couple little areas where you can kind of see the grass is a bit taller, which I'll probably just do either with the liner brush or maybe my palette knife. I'll just scrape in some little tree bits. We'll see. Kind of where this all lands. Details here are going to determine how far away some of this other stuff looks. It looks pretty far away so far. It's actually, I think it's looking really cool. Even though my mountains turned more purple than blue, I think it works in its favor because it's kind of like the scheme of the sky. Color scheme anyway. So, going to take my under shadowy color, okay, put up here, load it onto the fan brush, and we're going to put in a couple trees that we will then have to go back and highlight. It's just the nature of the game. I'm going to put some bushes in too. So let's see, why don't we put in, how tall is this guy? I think he's about that tall. That's what I think. How tall that tree is. So, and just barely with the corner of the fan brush. Kind of start left and right, left and right. It won't look like much at first. Just work your way down, you'll get more and more. Or you will want to put more and more tree out there, I should say. Start with a little bit towards the top. You can leave a little bit of trunk exposed if you feel like it. You don't have to, but you can. And then come down here, do a little bit more, keep it fluffy, bristles and things of our tree. Maybe we skip a little bit more trunk. Why the heck not? we can cover up some of our background trees, but it's nice. You can let them like show through a little bit too. You don't have to cover everything to create distance. But you do need to put stuff in front of some of your stuff to create distance. It can't all just be, you know, shrinking as it gets closer. That would be not what we're going for. So, but it is also okay to kind of let it peek through a little bit too. I'm gonna steal myself a drink here real quick. Pardon me. Pepsi. So. Then, let's see. It's not every tree has to be a pine tree. Why don't we have like a... Oh, doddy-doddy-do. Tree that's going to come like that. And this tree will definitely grow. I'm going to take a liner brush to this particular little guy. Especially as these branches are kind of coming up here a little taller. My fan brush is not delicate enough to kind of drag those smaller. So that tree is going to stay right there in an incomplete state. I'm going to put one over here too. Let's see, maybe this one's a little bit taller. Kind of comes up here like so. He's got kind of a branch. Maybe one that's over there like that. And since both of these are got coniferous style branches, I'm going to take the liner brush to both of them and just kind of help their branches come to life a bit more. And we'll drop in some bushes here. I could actually drop in some bushes now. There's really nothing saying I can't drop in some bushes right now. We'll put in one right there. One right there. And we'll come get our other 1-inch brush, the more, I'm getting my soft 1-inch brush. I have a 1-inch brush that's got like stiffer bristles, and I've got one that's softer. This is my softer one. We're just gonna, these just make bushes that have different shapes to them. So that's kind of the thought process there, if anyone was wondering. Just getting some different shapes into our scene here when it comes to our bushes. Why don't we put just like a couple little poofy bits out in there? Like an almost bush. And all of these will get their turn at the highlights. I'm just putting in some shapes here. Alright, we will see you later, Odin. Your titles are in the comments. But have a good night. We're almost done anyway. And we're at like 6,000 likes. Holy cow. You guys are doing a lot today. So. Alright. And these trees will have their own little highlights, but I'm probably not going to give them all, like they're not all going to get branches and whatnot. I mean, they all have branches. They're not all going to get leaves, excuse me. I'll probably leave these kind of little baby sticky trees as just that, just little sticky trees. Changing of the seasons, probably. Went and had them drop all their leaves somewhere. So we're just, with the liner brush, kind of taking that paint. I put a little bit of the linseed oil on it just to kind of help it move and fit out, so I can kind of get these branches nice and thin on the end. And I just can't do that really with my my fan brush. It doesn't come to a fine enough point. But I can still drop a few little highlights with my no puzzle piece yet, Mel. I didn't get it the last couple of streams, and I'm kind of hoping that I don't get it anymore, but I still look for it, just in case. Just in case. I think it would be fine if it never showed up again. But I feel like as soon as I stop thinking about it, that's when I'm gonna, like, suddenly have a puzzle piece to worry about. Alrighty. That guy probably has enough little branchy bits coming off him. We're going to start highlighting some stuff so you guys can actually see what I've got going on. A frog piece, puzzle piece. You and Mr. Frogmel. Making sure. Does the painting make... Oh, that was Tim Hell. I'm like... I don't usually feel dirty when I paint. I just end up that way sometimes. Usually wearing paint. I have a hard time remembering not to touch my face sometimes. Highlights, palette knife, brown color. Although, I don't know if I'll use like a straight brown. I think I'm going to blue my brown. Since everything is kind of at night, I don't think we'd get like a super vibrant brown. So I'm going to tone it down. I'm going to take one of my burnt sienna is already kind of a super bright brown, so I'm just going to mix that in with a little bit of blue, a little bit of white. Kind of get this, like I said, kind of like a bluish brown color. And that's what we're going to come in here, start highlighting things with. Let's start with our little pine tree over here. Because he has some exposed trunk. You get some highlights. These guys are the ones that are going to get probably the most though. Since they're just sticky trees, kind of hanging out here. Enjoying the late show, probably. If you guys didn't know painting was a workout. Sure does feel like it sometimes though when I get into those lunges and squats. And I'm tapping my palette knife onto the trees. I forget to talk sometimes. Sorry guys. Tapping the color onto the tree, and whatever comes off the knife and lands on the tree is what is on the tree. Coming back in too many times is going to cause your tree to lose its shadows. You're going to have a tree that's too bright and looks kind of flat. And it's just not going to look quite right. So don't overdo it. Leave some pockets of darkness. It's okay. I have a big boss coming in, so I need to look my eyes. I agree, sir. I agree. Just gonna scrape in the direction of the bottom of this tree. Since I didn't actually cover it, I kind of left it all exposed. So I'm just gonna take my knife, kind of blend that just with my knife, just kind of into the area below it. Oops, I missed a branch. There we go. You get a tiny little baby highlight. And we're gonna, I don't know, add some extra sticky bits. I don't know. I think these are fun. I don't know what to call them really, but they just look like little sticks coming off to me. Ooh. I almost got sniped by that darn puzzle piece. See what I was telling you guys? I stopped thinking about it, and that puzzle piece popped up. We are doing scary trees. Not necessarily scary, but I guess they could be. Try to get out of your way though. Come in here. This one has a branch that comes way up high. Trees just do that when the seasons change. That's all. Happens to be around Halloween, which is in fall. Same thing though, I'm just touching, tapping, paint onto here, whatever sticks around. That's what it is. You can, if you want, you can kind of scrape in the direction of your branch. You just kind of want to move the paint a little bit, but I wouldn't overdo it. Gonna cross in front of you guys again. Sorry, sorry. I might even just leave that one with just that hint of highlight right there. Officially out of paint though on my palette knife. Let's go get a little bit more. Come back in here, tap, tap, tap. Yeah. Same thing, just kind of start working that out. Towards the bottom. Probably have to put some more grassy bits towards the bottom there. Doobity doobity doo, but I do think. Gotta be careful because there's a bush right there. Just the corner of this to help kind of blend that out. There we go. Beautiful. I'm gonna take my little fan brush. I've got some sap green over here. And I'm just gonna mix into that other bluey green color that I just mixed up. Add a little bit of liquid white to brighten it up so you can actually see the color. We're gonna highlight our lone pine tree. Then we're gonna highlight our bushes. We're just about done, guys. Where can I get an original from you? That is a great question. I have an Etsy store. You should see it linked in my bio. I don't know if I post the link here, if it'll actually be active or not. Beautiful color shooting across the skyline. Thank you. And actually, while I still have you, I posted this painting. You won't see it with all these colors. It's gonna be a picture of my dog. But I did add a 16 by 20. It's painting 113. On my Etsy store would be this painting if you're looking for this one specifically. But I do have lots of other paintings also on my Etsy store. I did actually remember to put this here before I started my live. We're just tapping with the corner of the brush, highlighting this little pine tree. There we go. I'm gonna go get a little bit more color. And the only reason why this painting has kind of a placeholder photo in my Etsy store is because I didn't paint it yet. So I would update the images after. Alrighty. There we go. Perfect. There it is. Thank you, Mama Ents. I appreciate it. I really, really do. We're gonna clean off my 1-inch brush and we're gonna grab that highlight color. We're gonna start highlighting some bushes here. We're almost done though, so anyone who's here, if you've got title suggestions, we pick one at random together as a group, and on the off chance that this happens to sell during the live, which has never happened before, so expectations are reasonable, but if you buy a painting during the live, we can still have all the titles suggested in the comments, but the buyer would get the final say as to what the what the title is. Gosh, words. Hello and welcome. Katie, Mr. Frog. Yes, what is it? You have said my name. Do you have a question? Watch. Okay, watching. Oh, hello. Oh, it's the Galaxy. Thank you. Super awesome. I love seeing those gifts come in. Screen taps, comments, gifts are all great ways to support me, guys. And I appreciate it. So, highlighting my bush. I have one more brush to clean because I've got two different style bushes out here, so I need both my highlighting brushes. Okey dokey. So, brighten up these colors here. White, and then I need some that are not so thin. My different bush highlighting techniques require different consistencies of paint, which maybe sounds confusing, but it's really not too bad. When I make my bushes with my oval brush and I highlight them with my oval 1-inch oval brush, a thinner paint sticks really nicely to the thicker paint that's underneath. And you get these really nice highlights with barely any effort at all. When I use my 1-inch brush to make and highlight brushes, I need a slightly thicker paint. The way it deposits the paint, it almost blends it into its little highlighty bits. I've got a few more bits down there. So, different techniques require different paint consistencies. And there was some trial and error in figuring that out. It's still a little trial and error, but it's a really fun technique, I think, personally. Northern Lights. Ooh, yes. Thank you. Yeah, drop for those title suggestions, guys. We are closer and closer with every little highlight I put into this painting to actually being completely done with this painting. Probably by the time I finish highlighting these last couple of bushes, honestly. I might kind of do some little bits of blending just to kind of round out the bottoms there, but make them sit on the land instead of just on top of it. That sounds like the same thing. It makes sense in my head. I had some little bits over here where I'm just going to highlight and put into existence. There we go. I had a couple right here. I think I even had a couple right there. And if I didn't, I do now. There we go. Maybe we'll even just throw a couple little bits right there. Alrighty. And then I need a clean brush. Probably just gonna go ahead and clean off my other 1-inch brush. And just do as gently as I can. Fallen Star, yes. Think of too many today. But you guys can think of as many titles as you want. There is never too many. Never too many. The more I have to pick from, the more interesting it is to see what it's going to be. I think so anyway. We're just going to very gently just kind of blend out the bottom of just a couple of these bushes here. Just to kind of have them kind of sit more on the land and be a part of it. It's a subtle detail, but I do think it makes a difference. Alrighty. Just a couple little bits of brightness out here, which I might be able to do even just a little bit. I'll probably do that just fine with my palette knife. Just to kind of add in a couple little bits. And I'm going to blend them and soften them. These are basically just highlights, is what these are. Just because I was thinking it looks a little dark out there. So I figured I could perhaps just add a touch of brightness. Some darkness is fine. It can be a little dark. There's going to be shadows. It's a night scene, but it doesn't mean I can't add a couple little bits of brightness out there. So, why don't we add a couple of stick store bushes and then we'll actually go pick a title in earnest. Now, if this canvas was white to start, I would be able to just scratch away the paint and end up with some sticks. Because this canvas was not white to begin with, it was black, I take the least little bit of liquid white onto my palette knife, and that, if with the same motion, will deposit enough paint that you will actually be able to tell that there are sticks coming out of these shadowy spots. So, same technique, you just need one extra little step. Just a little one. I couldn't even just, I did it with the other one, I should probably do it here too. Drag off a couple of these little sticky bits. And I'll put a couple more out there. This is one of those in-person details. You might be able to pick out some of them on the live, but it'd be easier to see in person. So, not too many, just a few. I'm gonna take my gloves off and my falling memories. Ooh, yes. Ephemeral Aura. I love reading all the titles you guys just throw out into the comments for suggestions. It's super fun. And I did remember to list this one for sale on my Etsy store. If you get squirrely and decide to buy it, you get to pick the title. Everyone can still, you know, have their suggestions ready in case you feel like you want one of their suggestions, or you can just say, hey, I want to name it this, and then there you go, you've just named your painting. So, but I'm going to go ahead and sign it and date it. If someone wants to tell me what today's date is, that would be awesome. Because it's Thursday? It's Thursday. My new palette comes tomorrow, so you guys will actually be able to see when I'm mixing my colors. And then my prints should be hitting my store Sunday or Monday once I have those in hand. $3.27, thank you. Exciting things. And I do believe this was painting 113 is what I said, because I checked it. I did 112 yesterday. Still hard to believe I've done over 100. So, then we're going to go ahead and pick a title. So, I'm going to scroll to the top of the titles. Once they first started coming in, go a little bit back, close my eyes, and scroll away. So, and whatever I happen to land on is the title. It looks like it's Odin's title. He's not here to see it, but Portrait of Peace is the title of this painting. If someone would be so kind as to pin that to the top when I figure out where I just put my Sharpie here, because I just had the darn thing. I was writing with it. There it is. Portrait of Peace. Thank you. Portrait of Peace. That's such a delightful title. So, I think it's perfect. They're all perfect though, honestly. There were so many good titles out there, guys. This is the one that got picked today. Like I said, it's very random. I just close my eyes, scroll, and wherever my finger lands, that's what the title is. So, why don't I flip it around though so you guys can see the good side again. It's a lot. I think it's more enjoyable to look at the pretty front side as opposed to the numbers and letters on the back. Let's scoot that up. There we go. I just touched that with my thumb, so I might have to touch that with my brush here. Well, I'll do it anyway just in case. I can't see where I made a detectable mark, but it was like right there. Boop, boop, boop. Sign your name. Oh my goodness gracious, I'm over here. I'd lose my head if it wasn't attached. Yes, gotta sign my name on the front, guys. Let's see. I'm going to put it, I'm gonna sneak it up into this little corner right here. If I ever make this into a print, if it's too close to the bottom, it might get cut off. So just a little bit higher, and that's not gonna happen, which is why I just raised it up a little bit. I don't know if I'll ever make this one a print, but just in case. Really depends how well my first round of prints does, whether or not I do more. This is how I own my moderator title. Yes, you do. You are a great moderator. It's very helpful to have you here in the comments. But with that, it is the end of my show, and this is my Friday, because it's Thursday, and then I usually take Friday and Saturday off because I want back-to-back days to have my brain rest. And we have card night on Saturday. Family card night. So if you guys enjoyed the show today, had a good time, Sunday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time is when I go live to paint. Usually for about an hour, hour and a half, we paint a little scene. And it is a good time, and we always do the title as a group project because it's fun that way. So, thanks for stopping in, and I'll see you guys on Sunday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you're in a different time zone, you might have to make some adjustments there, but have a good night, everyone. Good night, Mr. Frog, Miss Mel, everyone else who is here, wholehearted. Take care. Whoops, I jostled the screen again.